Happy Thursday, Rutgers. I'm Cassandra Sheese.
And I'm Jake Ostro. We've got a great show lined up for you. It is November 1st, 2018.
Weather watcher Rohan Rain Jane will give you the regional and big picture forecast for the day.
Daniela Cardona will head on over to the University Career Services for their open house.
Audia Doughty and Daniela Cardona have some very spooky stories based off of old Rutgers University legends.
We have a packed show for you today. It's time to wake up, Rutgers.
Hello and welcome, Rutgers. It's great to be here on this Halloween-filled Thursday morning.
We're here to wake you up Thursday morning this semester with all the exciting news, events, and weather.
Well, Jake, happy belated Halloween, I guess I could say. I mean, it's only a day after, but how was your Halloween?
I was great. You know, I got together with a lot of friends, dressed up for a couple nights, and had a really good time this weekend. How about you?
Well, something that's crazy to me about Halloween is that when we're little kids, you know, we go out just on Halloween with our parents, but here at college, people start celebrating weeks before. I mean, we have so much time. So honestly, I'm kind of glad it's all over. Last night, I didn't go trick-or-treating because, you know, I don't think students are as willing to give out candy anymore, but I'm glad it's over, and I'm excited for, you know, just to relax this weekend.
For sure. I have to ask you, though, what was your favorite costume from the weekend?
Oh, my favorite costume. Well, actually, I saw someone dressed as Aladdin, and they were on a skateboard with a red, like, the magic carpet.
That's awesome.
So they were going down College Ave, they were passing the buses. I thought it was hysterical, but that was the best costume. I have to give them the award for most creative. But what about you?
That's awesome. I love that people get into the props and stuff. I actually saw a couple dressed up as Leslie Knope and Ben Wyatt from Parks and Recreation. They were wearing suits and they had matching badges with their names on it, well, their characters' names on it. It was really fun because that's easily one of my favorite shows, and I don't see it a whole lot.
Well, what did you dress up as?
I actually dressed up as Squints from the movie The Sandlot. I had my fake glasses on, backwards baseball hat, and open flannel short sleeve shirt. I looked very retro, and I don't know if it's a good thing to be a spot-on Squints, but I definitely looked like him.
I love Sandlot, and that's a great costume. My friends and I, we kind of did a whole group, and so one person was the crime scene, one person was the prisoner, and one person was the cop. So all apart, we looked normal, but then all together it was kind of cute. It was like a little skit. But what about you, Rohan? What did you dress up for as Halloween, and what was your favorite costume?
Well, I guess I dressed up as Darth Vader. I had a really busy day. But, yeah, luckily I was able to find some time to dress up as Darth Vader. As far as my favorite Halloween costume I saw on Livingston after my recitation, I actually saw a large T-Rex and a dog costume. They were like dancing together right outside the Student Center. I thought that was really funny, and it definitely made my day. Back to you guys.
Well, I actually heard that there was a thing that all the people on campus that had these big dinosaur inflatable costumes were supposed to get together in the little courtyard outside the Livingston Student Center. So I don't know, Ron, if you saw that, but that's what I heard was going to be the plan, which I have to say is pretty funny. I love those things.
I didn't hear that, but I did see the T-Rex, and that's always a hysterical costume. But something I'm looking forward to before this packed show is the hour of sleep we are about to gain this Saturday.
Yes, finally, Saturday, falling back an hour, turning the clocks back. We're going to get an hour of sleep. You said that's the most important thing to me because, you know, midterm season's kind of on its way out, and, you know, I could use the sleep.
I could definitely use the sleep as well.
But, you know, we're wrapping up the Halloween season. You know, in this show alone, we have a lot of Halloween undertones. We have our spooky stories that we're going to get to in just a little bit. But before we get to the rest of the show, let's see how much you know.
How old is Rutgers University? We'll give you the answer when we come back.
The Rutgers libraries have some of the biggest resources this university has to offer. There are 9 libraries located throughout all campuses with convenient hours to fit any student schedule.
The Alexander Library on College Ave campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m., a valid Rutgers ID is required. The art library, located on College Ave behind Scott Hall, is open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. The car library on Livingston campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m. a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Chang Library on the Douglas campus is open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Mabel Smith Douglas Library on the Douglas campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m. a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Library of Science and Medicine on Bush campus is open 24 hours, but before 8 a.m. and after 10 p.m. a valid Rutgers ID is required. The Math and Physics Library inside of the Hill Center on Bush campus is open from 8:30 a.m. to 10 p.m.
There's plenty of space for everyone at the library, so come inside.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Before the break, we asked, how old is Rutgers University? Now it's time to find out the answer.
Rutgers University is 251 years old and was founded on November 10th, 1766.
Well, Jake, I mean, that anniversary date is right around the corner. I mean, it's November 1st. We're only a couple days away. So 2 more years since the 250th celebration, which was a huge day. I mean, they had fireworks. They had a whole event in the park behind the river dorms. But did you go to any of those events on the 250th?
I actually stopped by for some of the free food, and they were giving out little candles that had the Rutgers 250. I had class in Hardenberg Hall that night as the fireworks were going off. So we all kind of just took a break from class and turned our backs to watch the fireworks. So it was actually a very cool view watching it from the basement of the river dorms as the fireworks were going up. But we were a little bit distracted for the rest of the class, I have to say.
No, yeah, I went with all my friends to go see the fireworks, and I also went to the park just to get those art cookies. I mean, those are always great, but it's always fun to bring the community together, and that was such a big year. So I'm wondering what we'll do for 252. I mean, it's right around the corner. Maybe they'll have some events planned or something like that.
It seems like a kind of random day, 252 years, especially when, you had such a milestone just a couple years ago. I don't know how Rutgers can top it, but, it being next week, I have to see what's in store.
Well, hopefully we'll know the weather for this next week's big event. So let's head over to Rohan with the weather.
Well, thanks, Cass. I'm Weather Watcher Rohan Rain Jane, here to bring you your forecast. I'm taking place for Maxwell Hazon, my good friend and fellow weather watcher, as he couldn't come in today. Let's get right into it. Weather headlines: we have warm temperature trend continues into tomorrow, but with that comes lots of rain on Friday, and we have a cooler but drier weekend ahead. Current weather, 54 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Dew point is at 52, so that does make the humidity 92%. Winds are coming from the south-southwest at 5 miles an hour, so wind chill does not play a factor. Here's a take a look at our radar. You can see this very strong storm going through into the East Coast over the next few days. That's going to contribute to our rain Friday and Saturday morning. Now, with that storm in the back is some colder and drier air, as I mentioned. So after Friday and Saturday into Sunday, we'll start seeing temperatures go down into the 50s as our high, as we're back to those fall temperatures. Our high for today is actually really warm at 70 degrees. Mixed clouds and sun, winds southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Much warmer than we've seen before, but don't be fooled because, as I mentioned, it won't stay for long. Our low for tonight, 60 degrees, also very warm. Increasing clouds, rain late. By late, I mean early morning hours tomorrow, so 2, 3 a.m., and it'll be just a drizzle at that point. Won't be the heaviest part. Heaviest part's actually going to be Friday night into Saturday morning. Winds southwest 5 to 10 miles an hour. Back to you guys.
Well, Jake, I mean, that weather is what we've been asking for. Last week we saw how cold it was when we were coming into work, and Robert gave us that forecast, but that's the fall weather I like to see. And, I kind of wish we could have it all winter, but I guess I'd have to move if I wanted that.
Yeah, for sure. I've ditched the sweater back to the button-down shirt. I love the warmer weather. It feels like it's almost spring again. We went right through fall, right? I skipped over winter back into spring, but I can't see it staying for very long.
Well, the fact that we could just walk to the studio, walk to class in just our shirts and not really these big bundled up jackets, that's what I want for the rest of the week. And the fact that the low is 60 tonight, I mean, that is a great temperature. It's not too cold and you can still be outside, Yeah,
it was nice yesterday. It was nice. It's nice again today. You said I'm not walking around with a sweater or a sweatshirt, jacket, anything today, and probably won't be tonight either. So it's nice to get a little bit of a break from the usual fall winter weather.
Well, we have so much more to get to, Rutgers, so stay tuned.
As a commuter, it's hard to make connections outside of class.
Tell me about it.
Did you know that there's a place for commuters to meet up between classes?
No, I didn't.
That's right. The Rutgers Commuter Student Organization's primary goal is to serve commuter needs and interests while building a bigger commuter community on campus. Located in the Bush Student Center, the RCSA Commuter Lounge has many appliances that help make commuter lives easier, such as a microwave, a refrigerator, computers, and even a TV. The RCSA also holds events. It's the perfect place to relax, do homework, and make some friends. Don't have classes on Bush? Don't worry, there is a new commuter lounge in the Douglas Student Center as well. The commuter lounges are open every Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Fridays. For more information, visit rcsa.rutgers.edu.
Now.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Well, we have so many exciting news and events to get to, so let's jump right in. Food insecurity is a struggle familiar to many college students. According to national statistics, approximately 40% of college students struggle with food insecurity in the United States. Fortunately, the Rutgers University student food pantries are doing their best to combat this phenomenon. Studies show that students who skip meals or have an unhealthy diet have poor performance in class and are at higher risk of not graduating, which is why Ellen Daly, director of Rutgers University Newark Student Food Pantry, and RBS student Danielle Warren are working to reduce the stigma surrounding food pantries by educating students on negative effects of going hungry. Warren is currently working on a study to better understand and sidestep the self-consciousness often associated with using food pantries through various messaging methods. Not only does the food pantry offer hunger relief for students, it is also a great place to learn about other resources made available to them through the university, like academic, psychological, and financial services. Well, Jake, I know we've talked about before, but we've both volunteered at food pantries before, and they really are a great thing for students to go to. I mean, you know the saying, broke college student, but sometimes that really is the reality. So for students to have this kind of safe haven where they can get food and stay healthy, we see that it affects our studies and health. So the fact that this is right here on campus is really important.
Right, that's the biggest thing, is that it's here in New Brunswick, right on the College Avenue campus. It's just a way that Rutgers can reach out and help the community around it. Just like Rutgers University will serve as New Jersey's Center on Gun Violence Research, a new initiative that will focus the university's expertise in public health, criminal justice, and other fields on a nationwide problem. The center will conduct research on efforts to reduce gun violence across the nation and create policy recommendations for gun violence prevention and public education. The center will be led by the Rutgers School of Public Health and the School of Criminal Justice at Rutgers Newark. The Rutgers-based center will consider the individual, community-based, and societal factors that place some members of the population at greater risk than others. Firearm violence remains a public health problem throughout the United States, with nearly 100,000 firearm-related incidents annually, about one-third of which end in death. New Jersey, which has more comprehensive firearm laws and fewer deaths than other states, has an average of 475 firearm deaths each year and countless more injuries. With this new center, Rutgers aims to lower that number drastically. Well, you know, Kat, this is one of the biggest issues facing our country right now. And yeah, I know New Jersey has some stricter gun laws, but clearly people are still being hurt by it. So it's good on Rutgers in both New Brunswick and Newark taking the initiative and making our place safer.
Yeah, we always see gun violence and gun laws talked about in political news, as well as we see social activism campaigns and things like that, which is great because RUPA is actually bringing a leader in to talk about things like that. So come on out this Tuesday, November 6th, and join RUPA and Leadership and Experiential Learning for a conversation with activist and host of Pod Save the People, DeRay McKesson. He will be talking about leadership, civil rights, and what inspires his passion for social justice. The event will be taking place at the College Avenue Student Center from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. and is free for all to attend with a valid RUID. Well, Jake, I think that's so great that they have someone to come in and speak about this. It's always nice for students to see someone who's personally involved. So it's more relatable. It's a topic of conversation, not so much a lecture that you would get in class. And I'm sure he'd take questions and things like that. So if you're really into activism and change, you have someone who's hands-on involved right there that you can go and watch talk about it.
It's so great that Rutgers brings in leaders, people who not only just participate, but they take initiative. They set the tone and they pave paths for other people. Just like, Rutgers has so many different events to help people get in the door and start to pave paths on their own. You know, are you looking for a job or internship but aren't happy with your resume? Then come on out to the College Ave Student Center, room 411A, this Tuesday, November 6th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. for a resume building workshop. Get your resume reviewed by people already in the business and help get your best foot forward. You can also gain useful job and internship seeking tips. For more information, visit rutgers.campuslabs.com. Well, you know, Cass, I'm never really happy with my resume. I always feel like there's something more that I can do with it. So for Rutgers to offer workshops with people already in the business is too good of an opportunity to pass up.
Oh, and your resume is definitely the first thing that these jobs or internships look at. I mean, that's basically what they're judging you off of because they can't meet you in person. So it is practical that it has to be great, and a really good place to go, honestly, to get your resume checked is the University Career Center. I mean, I've gone there and have it looked over. They've given me tips. So our very own Daniela Cardona just went there for their open house. So let's take a look at that.
Hey Rutgers, today I'm here at the University Career Services Open House. If you're looking for a new job, internship, or maybe just some different career opportunities, this is the place to be. Let's go check it out. What do you hope students will gain from this Career Services Open House today?
It is our hope that students, when they come visit us at University Career Services, that they will recognize that we are here for them. We represent sometimes the real world, and that can be scary, but we like to have fun just like everyone else.
What do you hope students gain from this open house?
So this open house is really so students can get a feel of what Career Services is, get to meet the counselors, and attend a few of our workshops. So our workshops right now are tailored towards one, Insider's Guide to the Career Fair, so basically learning how to prep for the career fair, how to make the best impression, how to stand out and differentiate yourself from other candidates. And our other workshop today is about how to find an on-campus or off-campus part-time job, which is an inquiry for a lot of students on campus. So definitely getting to know our counselors, attending some of the workshops, and also getting a fast pass for our career fair.
Planning, like as they say, like to build skills and stuff, and it seems like just a really valuable resource that I'll be able to use later on. So I might even come back this year.
Since I'm in my third year of Rutgers, I need to know more about career services, about updating my resume, trying to figure out how I'm going to get an internship, and trying to find a job after graduation.
Experience has become the new entry-level requirement, so get involved in internships. Do research with a faculty member, join a student organization. These are all experiences that are going to help you develop soft skills that employers are seeking.
Well, Rutgers, I definitely learned a lot here at the Career Services Open House. I'm going to go home and update my resume right now. Thanks for coming with me. I'm Daniela Cardona, RUTV.
Well, Jake, I mean, that looked like such a fun and really helpful event. I mean, the University Career Services offers so many programs, not only resume workshops, but interview practicing. They can help you find internships, networks, things like that. So to see so many students at that open house is really good because it's putting your foot out there and networking, you know?
Well, just last year I was part of the Road to Communication and Media program offered through the University Career Services, where they matched me up with a mentor, a guy that is in the broadcast field. He's on TV. I think now he's in Chattanooga. He was in West Virginia when I started talking with him. But every now and then I would be able to pick his brain a little bit, get to know the industry, get to hear some tips, and I think it's really translated into my work.
Oh yeah, I mean, they are really good about putting you out into the field you are pursuing, and they have so many connections. So to just go there, you never know what, you can always take something and learn from it. So I do like to go there, and I do like to meet with people kind of annually to stay on track and keep up with my speaking abilities and interviews and things like that. But there are so many more exciting things coming up, especially those spooky stories. So stay tuned, Rutgers.
Being a Rutgers student isn't always as sweet as it seems. If you're not prepared, you might find yourself needing some help.
I need help. I can't find my term bill.
Luckily, help is here. Getting to and paying your term bill is as easy as tying your shoelaces.
To get to your term bill, just go to studentabc.rutgers.edu and press the button that says Pay Your Bill. From there, you can log in with your NetID or RUID. The site will direct you to your account summary where you can find your term bill for any semester.
Okay, but how do I pay my term bill?
Great question.
For payment options, just refer to the right-hand side column on your account summary page. It's that easy.
Wow, that was really helpful.
All in a day's work.
Welcome back, Rutgers. As Halloween comes to a close, we want to share with you some of the spookiest stories that involve our very own campus.
Information in these stories is based on history and legend and is provided for entertainment purposes only. We make no claims that this material is 100% factual or that ghosts really exist.
Sounds spooky. Let's check it out.
Old Queens, the first building constructed on campus, completed in 1825. At the top of Old Queens is a bell tower, built especially for the bell that Henry Rutgers donated to the college. Also within the cupola resides the Gray Lady of Old Queens. Gray Ladies are said to be ghosts of women who died in sadness over love or who are waiting for a lover to return. The Gray Lady of Old Queens has been seen dressed in an elegant lace gown, moving restlessly within the tower. We believe that she haunts this area because her love exemplified true heroism here and thus began his climb up the social ladder. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Join me in the fall of 1776. The Revolutionary War was in full swing. On November 30th, the Continental Army, led by General George Washington, stopped to rest at this very area after having been routed in battles at New York and Fort Lee by the British. On December 1st, redcoats were spotted directly across the river from where you are standing. Washington's men had not had enough time to recuperate, nor had the general been able to secure more men. Thus, he was forced to retreat. To cover Washington's withdrawal, a 20-year-old commander, Captain Alexander Hamilton, fired on the British and troops from this bluff overlooking the Raritan. This delaying tactic gave Washington and his dwindling army the time they needed to escape safely. Hamilton joined the rest of the army in Pennsylvania, where, on December 25th, the Continental troops crossed the Delaware River and won the Battle of Trenton. His courage earned the notice of General Washington, who selected Captain Hamilton to serve his aide-de-camp. During the American Revolution, war was suspending during the cold, snowy winter months. While they wintered, many dinners and other social gatherings were held for the officers and local gentry. Included on General Washington's guest list were the Miss Livingstons, Susanna and Catherine. During the late 1700s, it was customary that only married or betrothed couples exchanged letters. However, after the army moved out, a flirtatious correspondence began between Catherine and Alexander. 20-year-old Alexander wrote, "I challenge you to meet me in whatever path you dare, and if you have no objection, we will even make excursions in the flowery walks of Cupid." These words must have been welcome to a 26-year-old Catherine, considered to be on the threshold of becoming an old maid. The Livingstons were an old, wealthy family who were distantly related to royalty. Susanna and Catherine were the daughters of General William Livingston, commander of the New Jersey militia, first governor of the state of New Jersey, and namesake of Livingston College. Alexander's hints at marriage might have been feasible if not for the difference in their social class. At the time, he was a nobody from a poor family, had very little formal schooling, and had no wealthy connections. The correspondence between the two ended after only a few letters. Alexander eventually married and would become the new country's first Secretary of the Treasury. But what happened to Catherine? 10 years after her correspondence with Alexander, at age 36, she married a merchant from Baltimore and had one daughter. Catherine died at age 62. Our Gray Lady is dressed in lace and passes slowly back and forth in the shadows of the tower. She pauses to look toward the southwest before vanishing. Administrators working on the 3rd floor of Old Queens have reported footsteps passing to and fro above them in the unused attic of the building. People say you never get over your first love. Could the Gray Lady be Catherine keeping watch over Alexander as he slows the British advance across the river?
I am sure you are familiar with the story of the Jersey Devil, but for those of you who aren't, I will quickly brief you. The rumors about the Jersey Devil are many. One of the tales takes us deep into the history of the Revolutionary War. The Devil's mother was a young, vibrant woman from Leeds Point, New Jersey. One afternoon, she had the misfortune of coming across a wounded British soldier in the woods behind her house. She cared for him, bound his wounds, and nursed him to health in the secrecy of her home. They fell in love, but when the townspeople of Leeds Point found out about her illicit relationship, they cursed her and her 2 children. The cursed children, born of the 2 lovers, was a child of treason who was deformed beyond human recognition. The woman kept the child until the townsfolk, who feared his cursed and gruesome existence, threw him out of town. He disappeared for some years before rumors began of a grotesque creature wreaking havoc in the neighboring towns. The devil was seen many times in the following years. His hoof tracks were seen leaving the scenes of a slaughtered livestock and pets. Sightings were all over New Jersey as well as eastern Pennsylvania. He was described as standing about 3.5 feet tall, with a head like a collie dog and the face of a horse. He had a long neck, large wings, and crooked winding tail. His back legs were those of a crane with horse hooves, and his front like the paws of a lion. This gruesome creature roamed all of New Jersey, killing for food and for fun. In 1909, his appearances became much more numerous and widespread. It was in that year that he was seen in New Brunswick. All the trains coming and going from both New Brunswick and Trenton were loaded with armed conductors to guard against attacks from the Jersey Devil. Looking for a feast of tired travelers, there were numbers of cases that year of passengers who heard the flapping of his wings outside their windows or saw the glimmer of his hungry eyes sipping into the darkness of the night. In New Brunswick, there was never an actual attack, but the rumors of sightings were numerous. Some said they saw him around the train station, on the roofs of the train, and even pacing the gate outside of Old Queen's campus. The sightings of the Jersey Devil are nowhere as numerous today, but the strange set of tracks, movement in the shadows, and the glimmering eyes in the bushes could be the Jersey Devil looking for his next meal. So be careful.
Well, Jake, that was scary. I mean, it's kind of creepy that we have these stories involving our own university.
Yeah, and New Jersey's filled with stories because it's so old, because people have been here for so long. And, you know, there's just so many stories like the New Jersey Devil. It's, you know, the reason why we have a hockey team named after it, and, you know, it has such an impact on our state.
Exactly. And honestly, it kind of felt like we were watching a scary movie. Rohan, what's your favorite scary movie?
Well, my favorite scary movie is probably The Conjuring. It's weird for me. Most of the times I don't like horror movies, but around Halloween time, I'm all of a sudden in a mood to watch them, and then I go on a binge watching all sorts of scary movies. Anyways, going back to the weather, today's regional forecast is pretty consistent throughout the Northeast. We have 48 degrees in Syracuse, 58 in Scranton. It's actually raining up north of us, 67 New York City, and 74 Washington, D.C. Tonight's regional forecast, 46 in Syracuse, 54 in Scranton, 52 in Pittsburgh. Nearby Philadelphia is at 62, New York City 61, and Boston 51. I put rain on here because there is a slight chance of some drizzles tonight, as I previously mentioned, but it won't be anything too significant, maybe like a tenth of an inch, if anything. Now, as I step out for your 5-day forecast, Thursday, 70 degrees today, 60-degree low, as I mentioned, very nice outside. Friday, we're at 69, high 57 low, and the rain, as I mentioned, most of it being Friday night around 11 p.m. onwards. Saturday morning, 62. The cool down already begins on Saturday, 41 degrees. Sunday and Monday, it does clear up though, drier conditions, 57 high, and a bit colder for the low at 41 and 48. To stay updated, you can go to channel 23.1 every 15 minutes. Facebook, RU Weather Watcher, Twitter, RUTVWW using the hashtag RUWeather, or go on YouTube, RUTV Weather Watcher. Back to you guys.
Well, Rutgers, that will do it for today's episode.
More events happening this week. You can go to getinvolved.rutgers.edu or ruevents.rutgers.edu.
Follow us on social media by searching RU Network, and follow us on Twitter by searching @WakeUpRutgers. We love hearing from you.
Thank you to Daniela and Adia for sharing their spooky stories. I'm Jake Ostroff.
And I'm Cassandra Sheese. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week.